we're back in my kitchen and we are getting ready to make the classic Purim treat, Hamantashen. Hey everyone, it's Dora from flippinghouseandpancakes.com, and today we are going to make the classic Purim treat, Hamantashen. I'm going to make it in my kitchen, and you are going to make it in your kitchen, because you can do this too. It's not that hard. We're going to make my favorite Hamantashen recipe. It's a cookie dough based recipe. Some Hamantashen are made with like a yeast dough. Some Hamantashen are made with a cookie dough. This is my favorite one, hands down. And it's really, really simple. We're going to start. I've got a mixer. If you don't have a mixer, you can use a bowl and a big spoon, and that is fine too. All right, we're going to start with 1 egg. We're going to add the 1 egg in. 1 egg. We need half a cup of sugar. So I'm going to grab a half a cup of sugar. Now, if you ask me how many Hamantashen this makes, the answer is I don't know. It really is going to depend on how big the Hamantashen are. If you want giant Hamantashen like this, and yes, I have made those, it's not going to make so many, but if you want little tiny ones, and yes, I've made those too, it's going to make a whole bunch. So in my house, I usually make about a quadruple batch of this. So there's definitely going to be more Hamantashen made today than the ones that we're doing on camera, but they're so good. Trust me, you have to make them. It's going to be delicious. So we had 1 egg, we had a half a cup of sugar. We're going to add a half a cup of oil. This could be any oil pretty much except for olive. Don't put olive oil unless you really, really want it, because you will get that strong flavor. I'm using avocado oil today, but you could use canola oil. You could use vegetable oil. You could use safflower oil. You get the idea. Okay. So we had an egg, a half a cup of sugar, a half a cup of oil. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of vanilla, just a splash. You can measure that if you want. I just added a splash, and I've got 2 tablespoons of water that I've already measured out, and I'm going to add that in. I'm going to put this down, and we're going to beat this. If you're using a bowl and a spoon, then use your spoon, or you can use a fork to beat it up. We are creaming the dough. Creaming all the eggs and sugar and everything until it looks nice and thick, almost like a vanilla pudding look, okay? Don't eat it, it's not vanilla pudding. All right, we have only 1 more ingredient to add. Like I said, this is a really simple recipe. We have 2 cups of flour. This is already sifted. If you want to sift your flour, you can. If you get pre-sifted flour and you gently scoop it out and kind of shake your cup a little bit to level it off instead of packing it down, it's going to give you the same effect. So we are going to mix that up and turn it into a cookie dough. Okay, we mixed up all of our cookie dough, and it should be nice and soft, but not too soft, okay? Nice cookie dough, just like that. You can use this cookie dough for Hamantashen. I make it for Hamantashen every year. It's really, really good. You can also use this for like Linzer cookies and things like that, where you have like the jam in the middle. These will also be really good like that. Okay, now this recipe, some Hamantashen dough has to be refrigerated. This recipe doesn't even have to be refrigerated. All right, so now we've come to the time where we have to roll out our dough. And yes, that's the most labor-intensive part of this whole process. I'm going to clear this space so I can roll out my dough, and I'll be right back. All right, the space is clear, so now I'm going to prep it for rolling out my dough, and this is my favorite way to do it. I take a paper towel, I wet it just a little bit. It doesn't need a huge amount of moisture, just enough that helps my saran wrap here, my plastic wrap to stick really nicely. I'm almost out of plastic wrap, so I'm a little nervous about this. It might make a small area for me to roll my dough today, because I need some for the top of my dough as well. So I'm going to coat my countertop in plastic wrap. I'm going to take my dough, some or all, however you want to do it. We're gonna use just a little bit for today. Okay. Now you could probably use your rolling pin directly on it, but I find I get a much smoother a much smoother cookie and rolling experience if I cover the dough with a second layer of plastic wrap. So I've got my dough in here, got my extra layer of saran wrap, and we're gonna roll out the dough. We want it to be about 1/2 inch in thickness. So we don't want it too thick, we don't want it too thin. Too thick, just it's too much cookie. And too thin is gonna be hard for us to pick up and move later. So we're gonna give this a nice rolling out. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just gonna smush up everything when we're done pretty much. After we've moved our cookies, I'll show you. I'm gonna remove that gently so I can use it again. I'm gonna use this very fancy cookie cutter. It's just a glass, okay? Anything that's got that nice circle, pick which size you want. Remember, your cookies will be a little smaller than that. Your Hamantashen will be a little smaller, and I'm just gonna press down, make nice circles all the way around. Okay, so we'll see how many this makes. Any extra is going to end up just in my next batch of rolling. So I'm going to clear away my extras, and usually this is the part my kids really enjoy. They come and they make little piles, and they take away all my extra dough. Okay, so we'll do this. Take away all the extra dough, and then we're just going to have our Hamantashen sitting here. So get that out of the way. And so this is like sugar cookie cutting, but this is not really a sugar cookie dough. A sugar cookie dough would be sweeter. This one, remember, only had 1/2 cup of sugar in it because the fillings are sweet, so we don't need the dough to be super sweet. All right, so I've moved all of my extra dough, and I am going to take my fillings now. This is not sponsored in any way, but my absolute favorite filling is poppy seed from Solo, they're little cans. You can find them in the grocery store. Solo brand poppy seed filling. I also have an apricot one today. I'll probably melt down some chocolate chips with a little bit of oil and fill some with chocolate because some of my kids like chocolate ones. They also make prune. That's really good. I know it sounds crazy, but it actually is really, really good in the Hamantashen. Or you can fill it with anything you want, Nutella, any other pie filling, like a lot of people put cherry pie filling. I would avoid jam or be very careful with jam because a lot of times jam will leak out the side of your Hamantashen and kind of burn on your sheet pan. So just be careful with that. You want something that's nice and thick and is not going to make too much of a mess. All right. So all I do is I'm going to take a little teaspoon. I'm going to put it on my Hamantashen right in the middle. Yes, I used my finger. Don't worry, my finger is washed, so we're okay. I'm going to take it and I'm going to push up the sides into a triangle. So I do 2 sides and then I do the 3rd side, and I will do a close-up so you can see me shape my Hamantashen. I'm going to end up with something like that. I'm going to put them on a sheet pan. I'm going to bake them all in the oven at 375. So I'm going to finish making these, and I'll show you a little closer up how I'm doing that, and we'll get them in the oven. Okay, and if you didn't catch what I was doing while I was doing that a little quickly, I'm going to take one side and push it up, and the other side. Remember, we're making a triangle, so we've got just like that, and then we'll take the 3rd side, because we've got 3 sides. We'll push it, and we'll pinch in the corners, and push it together with your fingers, and you're going to get a beautiful Hamantashen. Did you see that? We'll do it one more time. Go up on one side. We'll roll it up on the other, pinch it at the top. You're going to take your 3rd side and roll it up and pinch it on the corners. Boom. Look at that. Gorgeous Hamantashen. I'm going to transfer these to a sheet pan, put them in the oven at 375, and then I'm going to roll out some more dough and make some more. So we'll be back when the Hamantashen are done. Okay, guys, they're out of the oven, and they're so delicious. And
They're so delicious. Everybody in my house is kind of like snuck past them and like, oh, can I take one? I'm like, no, these are for my video. You have to wait. So they've all been forced to wait. Nobody's allowed to take one. They have to cool down anyhow. So, although it's really good warm also. I hope you guys enjoyed making these Hamantashen with me, and I hope that you make them in your house too. The recipe is super easy. They come out delicious. They're so much better than the store-bought ones. So do this recipe, make them at home, enjoy these Hamantashen cookies, and if you enjoyed them and you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for notifications so you find out every time I upload a new video. And of course, as always, don't forget to check out my website, flippinghouseandpancakes.com.